Are you printing your photographs? If you're not, you should be, and I'm going to show you why you should be in today's episode. Shoot, edit and print. Stay tuned. Hello from New Zealand and welcome. Thanks for joining me again. Well, today I am going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a shoot, edit and print video, and what that means is I'm going to take a photograph or several photographs, and then I'm going to head back to the office and I'm going to do a select one or two images to edit and put through Lightroom, and take you through my my Lightroom process. And then once I've done that, I am going to make a print, which is the best part of photography in my view. Making that final print, seeing it, feeling it is special, and I want to take you through that experience. So the first things first though, and we need to get the photograph. So let's go and see if we can find a suitable subject to photograph.
I know we're going somewhere into the danger zone. It all points right to that. I set myself aside, lead the way on this drive. If you don't know the way.
Okay, well I'm at my scene now. Now I'm down on the river, and I've got to work fairly quickly, so I won't talk too long. The reason I've got to work quickly because I've got fog and mist on the hills here, and I want to really focus on that. I'm gonna basically try a variation of things this morning with some long shots. My gear, if anybody's interested, is the Olympus EM1 Mark II, and on that this morning I've got the 12-100. So I've got some good focal range of that lens, and I'm going to use it this morning. I'm going to do some wide stuff, and I'm going to zoom in and do some longer stuff. Got some beautiful cloud hanging over the hills here, and just some nice mood. Light's good. I need to work quick so I can make the most of it.
It all points right to that. I set myself aside, lead the way on this drive. If you don't know the way, we can stop and make a change. I know we walk for days, losing hope, fading love. This night will be
Okay, I think I've got a picture there. I think I've got a picture, at least one picture that's worth working with. So what I'm going to do now, pack up, start walking back and get back to the office, and we'll go and edit the photograph. So I boiled it down to two images, so let's open up Lightroom and just have a look at those two images, and we're going to select one to edit. Just starting up. Okay, so we are in Lightroom now. So go into the library, and these are the images that I had taken, and I'm just going to focus on two pictures. Now this is the first one, and the second one is this shot here. This is the shot that I'm going to use as my final print, basically because the first shot, the composition just wasn't working. This bit of river in the foreground, it cuts the third out on the picture too much. I don't like the balance of the picture with that in. So hence this is the shot that we're going for. What's interesting about this, and what interested me when I was taking the picture, was that even though it's shot in colour, it's a black and white photograph, and it just appeals to me. And it's going to be a very simple edit. This is a very simple edit. So the first thing we need to do is go into the develop module and just balance up. The first thing here is balance up the whole picture up color wise, and the level of the picture, whatever. It's perfectly level in my book, so we don't need to make any changes there. I'm just, looking at my histogram here, and let's just play around with just getting the exposure about right, and looking at that, looks about right there. And then we'll just play with the contrast of the exposure by just playing around with those highlights there. I'm going to just take most of those out and then bring the shadows up just a fraction there. Whites and blacks, maybe just play around with that, and maybe just leave it where it was, and the blacks drop it down perhaps a touch. Okay. White balance, we'll just go through the slider on the white balance here, and I kind of want a cold feel for this picture. That's where it's straight out of camera. I might just drop it down a fraction in white balance just to give it some coolness to the picture. Next thing I want to do is just balance up the top of the picture and the bottom half of the picture here, and what I mean by that is I just want to bring out, by using the gradient tool here, just bring out a little bit of detail that's hidden away in these shadows. And I'm doing that by just tweaking up the shadows a little bit. And then I'm going to add a little bit of clarity to that. So I want a bit of that detail in the foreground. In the foreground area, I just want to bring out some of that detail of the trees and stuff like that. So at the moment, that's good at the moment. I might come back to that. Sky, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a gradient over the sky. And I'm just going to kind of do the opposite to that. I'm just going to bring down the exposure a little bit. Play around with the dehaze, just bring in some dehaze, because I want to just get the detail in those clouds out, and just bring those out a bit, and then really maybe just play around with the clarity there again. I just want to bring out those clouds and just bring that out as part of the picture. Don't think I'll make any more changes there. This is a very simple edit. The picture doesn't need, it's a very simple picture. It's a very simple monotonal, almost abstract picture. And the way I want to present it on paper is with a white background, so it just brings out, the black and white tones in the picture. From here, I might just play with some split toning. Just play with that, and again, although I've gone out and made it quite cool, I might just want to add a bit of warmth now into that split tone, and even if it's just to see what sort of effect that I get with that, and I'm just going to bring in a little bit there. We're going 21% on 47 for the highlights. Shadows I don't think I'll touch, but again, I'll just see adding a little bit of, I like to contrast when I'm doing split toning, I like to contrast my split toning. I like to usually warm my highlights and cool off my shadows. And it's usually, that's a formula I use a lot. So we're in the blues there, and I'm just bringing in a little bit of that there because I want to bring back the depth, the coolness in those hills, and have that nice contrast. Because one thing that I didn't pick up here on the shot, which we had when we were shooting the picture, was we had some sunlight filtering through the clouds, and I want to kind of bring that through a little bit by just using that split tone on the highlights, which has come through on the clouds, and it's given me that nice warmth, and that's what I was seeing when I took the picture. That's what I saw when I took the picture down by the river there. Sharpening, just put a sharpening mask over there, about 90%, and I'll just sharpen it up to about 100%, just to bring out the lines of the hills there. I just want to use that for that. And really, that is about all I'm going to do to the picture. Vignette, maybe, but no, I don't like that. I think the picture will frame nicely on a white background. A vignette will take away from the shape and the line of those hills. And that's it. I might just, overall clarity, just bring that a bit more clarity in there to the overall picture. I've already put some clarity into the clouds in the foreground, so bring another bit more clarity into there. Saturation, we don't need any saturation change because really, like I said before, it's a black and white monotone picture. So saturation is fine, but just for the sake of it, we'll see what happens. I like my histogram here, that looks pretty good. White balance is all good. Contrast, maybe a little bit of contrast in there, just again to bring some definition and some tonal change between the lighter end of the colours and the darker end. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do to it. That's all I'm going to do. That sums up the picture as I saw it when I took it, and we haven't changed it greatly. We've just enhanced a few things in the picture. Now the best part. Now we're going to take this picture and we're going to print it. Let's get into it. Okay, well there we have it, the final finished product, which is the print, and I've titled it Grey Mist Port Road. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's, to me, I mean, like, you know, making prints, and I mean, because this is a photograph. This is what I remember as a child as a photograph. A photograph to me is not something that I see on my computer screen. It is something that I can hold, I can pass around, I can share, I can hang on the wall. And it's, you know, I think unfortunately it's becoming rarer and rarer these days. And I really wanted to do this episode just to show people the satisfaction that you get when you actually come to the stage, which is you've actually created a piece of art. And you just don't get the same representation on a computer screen as you do on a nice piece of good quality paper with a nice quality print. It's just very rewarding. It's what I remember photography being as a child, looking through photo albums and my parents' wedding photos and my family's holiday shots, and just it's the same kind of feeling when you actually hold something that's tangible in your hands. So I hope you enjoyed that episode, and I hope you enjoyed the experience. That's all for this one. As usual, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the button. Social media links are in the show notes, the description below. If you could follow me on social media, I'd really appreciate it. I'll put the images from this episode up on my website as usual. That'll be in my blog section on my website. Link below for that. Please take care, please come back, and until next time, haere rā from New Zealand. Goodbye.
I set myself aside, lead the way on this trial. If you don't know the way, we can stop and make a change. I know we walk for days, losing hope, fading love.